Hello and welcome to Media Mondays. I'm your host, the Zombie Creeper, and I will be reviewing an album. What album? Do I really have to tell you? I thought you were reading the title. Anyways, let's just get right into it. To explain the history of this album, we need to go back to 2005. Joseph Robert Hawley, a 22-year-old film student turned musician, and his band Tally Hall, consisting of fellow guitarist Rob Cantor, bassist Zubin Sedki, keyboardist Andrew Horowitz, drummer Ross Fetterman, and roadie/unofficial sixth member Bora Karaja, released their first studio album titled Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum. It contained 15 songs, 6, technically 7, of which were written at least partially by Hawley. However, Joe had written songs beforehand, including one called Break It Down, which he first performed with some of his friends and then with Tally Hall. In 2008, a re-recorded and remastered version of Marvin's was released. In 2011, after being stuck in development hell for 1.5 years, the second album, Good and Evil, was released. 5 of those songs were written by Joe. After this, Tally Hall toured to promote the album and went on a hiatus that lasts to this day, starting in August of 2011. Partnering with Ross and Bora, then created a new group called Mirakuru Mujikaru, which translates from Japanese to Miracle Musical, in 2012, releasing an album called Hawaii Part 2. This album featured, among others, Zubin and Rob on songs. In 2014, Hawaii Part 2, a compilation of demos and outtakes from the album, was released. Also in 2014 was the release of a gorgeous cover of Candle on the Water featuring one Laurel Stuckey singing. Candle on the Water is originally from the Disney film Pete's Dragon. This cover was released for free on Bandcamp and was dedicated to D.M. Brown and Travelin' Grace Campbell. And after this, Mirakuru Mujikaru slipped into the darkness, and Joe Hawley moved on from musical ventures. Wow! In 2015, during a meeting in Nyack, New York, Joe apparently had a spur-of-the-moment idea. That idea transformed into this album. On June 20th, 2016, a cryptic advertisement featuring the Ad Twins was uploaded to Joe's YouTube channel. Fundraising through this album was done through Pledge Music, with updates being released to backers known as Being Joe Hawley. He made a website to promote the album, but it became defunct in 2017. Initially, release was planned in late September 2016, but delays happened and wasn't released until October 21st at 3 a.m. That's not too weird, as Hawaii Part 2 was released on December 12th, 2012 at 12:12 a.m., which was when the Mayans predicted the world would end. Unlike Hawaii Part 2, this album features Bora and all 5 members of Tally Hall. The album's genre is classified as comedy hip-hop, which kind of fits. The name is satirical, as explained by Joe.
It was sarcastic. The title of the album was sarcastic. Hawaii Part 2 was all about walking out of the spotlight, and this project was sort of saying, okay, I'm Joe Hawley, I was in a band, Joe Hawley, right? Like, you want to buy me?
The album originally featured 13 tracks, but most of which contained samples from other music. Initially, he was told he could use as many samples as he wanted as long as he kept track of them, but halfway through the production, that tone changed and it was too late to go back. For a brief time, the album could be downloaded for free on Bandcamp, but with tracks 11 and 13 removed. However, following costly legal threats, the album was scrubbed from the internet. Between May 2017 and December 2018, music videos, demos, and stems were uploaded to Joe's YouTube channel. On April 16th, 2019, Joe re-released the album, but with one subtle change. All but one of the tracks were backwards. This album is known as Then, on November 11th, 2020, Joe Hawley was re-released forwards on streaming platforms. It's assumed Joe received clearance to use the samples, as only minor changes are present, but one of the songs, the only one forwards on the backward version, is backwards, and the last song is omitted, although finding it on archive sites and Joe's own YouTube channel isn't that difficult. On March 13th, 2022, the album disappeared from Spotify unexpectedly, but came back on April 1st. Following the streaming release of the album, Joe has mainly remained semi-dormant, releasing a song here and there. The last video uploaded to his YouTube channel was a music video for track 6 of the album. Speaking of which, to talk about the contents of this album, I'm going to go through it track by track. I'll try not to spoil this as much as I can, but bear with me. Listen to the album if you're so inclined. I'll link the full version, with 13 tracks and the 1 track forwards, below. I'll talk about some history too, but whatever. The opening song on this album is pretty much the phrase Joe Hawley repeated over and over. This song is sort of attributed to Rob Cantor as well as Joe. Samples include the opening theme from Disney's Main Street Electrical Parade and a video by Tally Hall called Joe Hawley Attack, where Joe chases Rob around shouting Joe Hawley at him over and over. He's done this gag a few times, specifically to Rob. This is easily the shortest one on the album at just over 30 seconds. The first real song on the album is similar to the Tally Hall song And, which is not only literally an ampersand, but is about duality and was written by Joe. It was first recorded as a rehearsal by Tally Hall in 2009, but similar to Mirikuru Mujikadu's Murders and Rob Cantor's I'm Gonna Win, it never saw release by the band and was only released sometimes years later. It features Tulsi Devi, Bora, and Patrick Ratliff. The first 4 verses are about different types of people, and the last 5 are... whatever the hell the last 5 are, I don't know.
People who were born to Indonesian single moms in 1957.
Samples in this one are Jean-Jacques Perry's The Little Ships, Jean Constantine's Les Corps Buissonnaires, and Nazar Pinera's Claro de Lua. I'm so sorry for those pronunciations. This one features the most obvious sample right from the get-go, but before that, this song is the first on our list to get a music video. The video was directed by Ted Hauser and was uploaded to YouTube on April 20th, 2018. It mainly features Joe wearing a white suit, sunglasses, and a top hat, messing around with a cane roller skating in a tunnel in Detroit. The song has a couple callbacks to earlier songs from Joe, as well as a possible reference to the group They Might Be Giants. The end of the song features the final line of the song backwards, as well as a well-known game jingle. Now in that backwards bit, Joe has some words on his backmasking.
There's a part of me that kind of wants to undo all the music that I make. Anyway, I often think, if I weren't me, would I enjoy listening to this music? And at first the answer was a resounding yes, and then for a while it became no, I'm not sure if I would like this, and then now it's kind of, I'm at peace with being an artist who's creating things that aren't perfect.
This one features Andrew, I mentioned him earlier. This one samples Queen's We Will Rock You, Bill Haley and his comments Rock Around the Clock, Ladysmith Black Mambazo's How Long, and the overworld theme from Super Mario Bros. That jingle, by the way, serves as sort of a transition into... Before we begin, the official lyrics from Joe says all the bleep words are actually mundane words like fuss, shucks, and darn. Okay, Karen, put your phone away. Anywho... this is video song 2. This one was released on May 2nd, 2017, and features Joe mostly walking around with a shopping cart and hobo outfit. The majority of this song is Joe rapping off various food names. It features the aforementioned Laurel Stuckey and Vomitron, which is Aiko Sakai and Dylan Nelson. This song samples the theme from Punch-Out!, Downstream from the game Braid, Simon and Garfunkel's Scarborough Fair, Max Gleason's cover of Green Greens from Kirby's Dream Land, and Abobo's theme from the game Double Dragon. The end of the song features a backwards clip of somebody saying, "Are you going to eat that disgusting food? Really?" in Japanese. Arguably the most popular song on the album, this one has a grim backstory. While Tally Hall was filming the music video for their song Good Day, Joe and Zubin went to a park in Pontiac, Michigan to film a segment. While there, they were mugged and robbed. This song is about that incident and features Zubin on it. The only song sampled is the Take the Money and Run theme by Martin Hamslish. A music video was released on June 22nd, 2017. Now, before I introduce the title, after a song about 2 people being beaten up and robbed, what do you think would come next? Tonal whiplash or something sad? How about Yo Mama So Fat jokes? This song is called Your Mother is a Basketball. Have I said enough? This one had a music video animated with frickin' Flipnote featuring the Ad Twins uploaded to YouTube on June 30th, 2021. This song samples Jump Around by House of Pain and Sergei Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto No. 2 in C minor. Features include Michael Gregory, Stephanie Koenig, and Allegra Rosenberg. This one is more of a talk than a song, but regardless, let's get into it. This details the story of a wizard who contemplates his existence. This song is a duet of Joe and Alex Kessler. The music video for it had been around in some form as early as late June 2016, but the final version wasn't released until May 21st, 2019. It was animated by Caitlin McQueen. The lyrics reference Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody and Treetown Sound, a radio station in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which has featured Tally Hall and members before. This song samples The Legend of Zelda's Farron Woods and Riders on the Storm by The Doors. The drumming at the end serves as a sort of transition into... Hot Rod Duncan originates in 2007 as a name created by Tally Hall.
Oh my god! That's Ross! That's really weird.
But it isn't Ross.
Let me see this.
Hey, Ross.
Memphis' legendary singer-songwriter, producer, televangelist Hot Rod Duncan.
This song features Ross and tells the story of a man who grows popular from winging his banjo playing, but is sad because he doesn't know what his name means. He flies to Jupiter, meets a girl, and through her finds his worth. I mean, that's better than what the demo said.
Viewed his share of porn. He was lonely, y'all, in that spaceship van.
The only thing sampled in this is some vocal snippet from a 1973 production of Charlotte's Web. Firstly, a music video called That, uploaded on September 27th, 2019. Anyways, and as I used to know, we're from the ball, I should all when they list me and resisting for real, no wet and no sin, as old man sons are all this a breakfast nest, no, or stove bed, and no thirsty fit. As well, that's no crabs that seal the mirrors in the net. Show ya, like not no wolf, no was a sit. Oh, you probably wanted to decipher that. This song was the one forwards on Yellow Yoj, and on the streaming release, it's backwards, titled That. It features Kojum Dip, which for all intents and purposes is Bora. There's no samples in this one. At one point, references a group named Tilly and the Wall, which Tally Hall opened for once in 2008. Anyways, this song feels like a song after the events of Hawaii Part 2, and it references quite a few songs by Joe. Dream Sweet in C Major is referenced in both the lines Finally Accompanied in Omniverse and Dreaming Sweet in C, and Ruler of Everything is referenced in the line Ruler of Measuring Things. This song is the longest and clearly references and samples Queen's classic hit Bohemian Rhapsody, down to the length. It also samples Julian Lennon's, who was John Lennon's first son, song Too Late for Goodbyes, the Hallelujah chorus from George Friedrich Handel's Messiah, and La Morena by Raulin Rodriguez. This song features Sam Falik, Ismail Ledesma, and Stacey Osei Kafur. Once again, I apologize for the terrible pronunciation. This song is probably the weirdest of them all. This one is just about people in space, but that's the simple part. This song features Amanda Jane, Rick Lax, Ryan Brady, and Ellie Brown, the latter three referred to as Uncle Salsa. The song also features a saxophone solo, which is ended by Joe screaming, "That's enough!" which apparently actually happened in the studio unscripted. There's no known samples in this song, but this is one of the most problematic copyright-wise. It is one of two not in the Bandcamp release, but somehow is streamable. But Joe seems to actively hunt down uploads of this one and take them down, even striking down an upload of it to one of the most well-known archives of Tally Hall and related individuals' content. Yeah, Joseph Joey Joe doesn't like uploads of this one too much, and I don't really know if anyone truly knows why. The end of the album on the streaming release is fittingly Joe telling you to, well, go to bed. This song takes the melody from and references Break It Down, which I haven't mentioned in a good while. This song features Mini Mall, a band inspired by Tally Hall, featuring Brennan Doyle, Wayne Miles, Merrill Ohan, Merced Stratton, and Allegra Rosenberg, who was featured earlier on Your Mother's a Basketball. This song has a backwards reading of Goodnight Moon at the end and samples Christmas is Coming by Vince Giraldi, you know, the guy who wrote the music for Charlie Brown, Trio's Da Da Da, Pure Imagination from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and Sacred Beast by Tally Hall, which Joe wrote. Yeah, Joe sampled Joe. The official last song on the album is more of a quote-unquote cover. White Rabbit was originally released and recorded by Jefferson Airplane in 1966. While most instruments in this are newly recorded, Grace Slick's vocals are sampled and vocoded. Google it, we don't have time. This one was taken off streaming releases in 2020 because of the constant threats of legal action. Other than the obvious, this song samples You Know I'm No Good by Amy Winehouse, Orinoco Flow by Enya, and Heard Him Say by the presidential candidate himself, Kanye West. The album ends with a weird noise. I don't know if it's a synthesizer or Slick's vocals being processed too hard. To sum up this album in two stupidly simple words, it good. I think a more nuanced term would be acquired taste, since this is a very weird album. This is a good album, but it's nowhere near as good as Tally Hall's Good and Evil. I love that album. But I'm gonna rank every song on the album from least favorite to favorite. They're all good songs, but some are gooder than others. That's not English. In last place is Joe Hawley Attacks. It's a cool opening, but it's not a song and it's way too short. Next is White Rabbit. The fact that this one disappeared buries it, and the vocals can get a bit too much at times. The synth and drums are cool though. Next is Black People, White People. This was the last song I grew to like, and it doesn't make sense how the song switches halfway through. I do like the people who were born in Indonesian single moms in 1957 part. That's pretty funny. Up next is Hoods in the Woods. The old man makes me laugh, as well as the random Nintendo at the end. The beginning is also pretty cool. Just above the wizard without a quest is Go to Bed. The guitar in the middle is satisfying, since the biggest killer in this one is how it abruptly stops to just a drum pattern and people talking. Then we have Your Mother's a Basketball. This was the first song I listened to on the album, and it's not a bad song, none of these are, but it just got overthrown by a bunch of better ones. Almost tied with that one is We Are in Space. I enjoy the randomness of this one, and the bass thingy while they're all screaming, "We are in space!" makes me snicker. Climbing further up, we have Bring Her Along. I really like Joe's vocals in this one, and the song definitely has the most fitting spot in the album. The ending is also creepy, but cool. Then we have Crazy Food. The bleep beginning is pretty comical, and the food rapping is impressive, as a lot of it somehow rhymes and just rolls off the tongue. The instrumentation is also pretty epic. Then we got the apologue of Hot Rod Duncan. This song has a zany story and a hurdy-gurdy feel to it. It's also nice to hear Ross's contribution so front and center, since the only other 2 times he sang for Tally Hall was backing vocals on the song Hymn for a Scarecrow and a song called Mucka Blucka where he makes chicken noises. The voice filter over Electric Spaceship in Disguise is also part of that random humor that makes me smirk. In third place, we have Bohemian Rhapsody. This was a hard choice between third or second. The vocals at the beginning are gorgeous, and the Spanish line really sets the song in motion. You also get some scatting midway through, which is pretty nifty, I would say. Second place goes to Rotary Park. Zubin and Joe are great singers, but this one wins in the suspense department. It feels like a mafia song in a way, like you're walking through an alleyway, and then the boys come at you. That's what the song feels like to me. Then when the song gets intense, it feels like you're looking back at the aftermath of that encounter, similar to how this song is about a real-life mugging. And for number 1, we have 4 words, Aristotle's Denial. I love rock and roll, and this song delivers. Epic guitars, majestic vocals at the end, and everything in between gives you a song that genuinely, on all aspects, slaps. And yeah, that's about it for this album. Drink your water and stop falling over.